to devote to this career again, because now they need me not as much as they still need me, but not as much as they needed me when they were really little. So and that's how I got into make back into making films again. You
Mm.
know, the journey of making a film in Canada is
Mm.
because, of course, when you come here as an immigrant from Africa, you've got to prove yourself, you know, and all to get people to trust you. So that was really basically the issue. And so I had to make a film, which I called my calling card, you know, so this is what I show to you and say, this is what I can do, you know. So I made that film called Treacherous Heart. And
Mm.
then in my mind, I was going to make a small film and put it out for a few people to see. And I would just show it to people, you know, to say, this is what I can do. Can you work with me to make a film and all? But Treacherous Heart definitely blew up beyond my expectations, you know, like people saw it and suddenly it became this whole big thing. And, you know, and so that kind of opened up a number of doors because now I did really need to start telling people, oh, I can do this. They could see exactly what I can do, you know. But the thing now is, you know, I have been away from Nigeria for so many years, you know, and as at then I was looking at, you know, probably going to 20 years. And so the industry has changed quite a bit in Nigeria. Most of the people I started out with were no longer making films. There were a whole lot of new people. And so I found myself in a situation where trying to introduce my film to Nigeria again, I was now the stranger, the
Mm.
outsider, having to prove to everybody that I am who I say I am again, you know.
Especially in the, also in the diaspora too. Yeah, that's
I
another.
know.
Yeah.
So it was really this very odd situation.
Mm. Mm.
So when I had the opportunity to spend some time in Nigeria, so I decided to make a film, you know, just to reintegrate myself back into the industry there in the community, and that's how come 2 weeks in Lagos was born, you know. And so I made that film in Nigeria for Nigeria, basically, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, it's great that you tied it into how that started and what the process is, and actually, I was going to ask you about the difference now in Nigerian film industry. Before, like when you started, it was a younger industry. Now it's a big industry. We have now it's now the in Nigeria, it's the second largest employer in
Yeah.
Nigeria. And then, of course, it's, in terms of volume, the Nigeria film industry is the second largest after Bollywood. And then you have
Yeah.
Nollywood. Um, what are some of the changes you've seen? And sorry, I wanted to get on this before we started even talking about the film, but what are some of the changes you saw now in the Nigerian film industry? Because people have they have a one image of the Nigerian film industry. What do you
Mhm.
see some of the changes now as compared to, let's say, 20, almost 30 years ago?
Yeah. Now, what I would say, the very first thing that strikes you is like right now is much more of a business, you know. And what I mean by that is when we started out, we were all people who just loved film. We loved acting. We loved, you know, we loved the art. So we did what we did for the love of the arts. There was no money in it. And at that point, for a lady, you know, it was really risky even being in the industry because people always in Nigeria, there was that stigma that if you were involved in acting, then you had to be a lady with no morals and, you know, who wouldn't make a good wife. So, you know, so those of us who actually went into the industry just took that risk because we really loved what we were doing, you know, and did not care about the stigma. But now I find it is an industry that is being respected and, you know, people are actually aspiring to join it. So that was really good. And technically, there has been some improvement. There's still some ways to go, but there's been quite a lot of improvement in the quality, technical quality of the films that we have seen, and there are a lot more younger people these days. In our days, it was mainly the older people and, a few of us youngsters then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually great that you mentioned about how the quality has changed, because I noticed that now you have more like well, I guess because of the use of technology, you have more shots outside and more area shots, more panorama, which you didn't see in the old films as well. You have a very expansive set for a film as well. Back in the day, it was a smaller set.
Yeah. And there's a lot more money these days to make films than there was in those days. In those days, you practically made a film with no money at all. It was just a group of people who liked to act, and then you just got somebody, to film you. So basically, you just had somebody's house and you've got to make use of it or something. But now there's a whole lot more money to do a lot. And then there's a lot more people who have worked in diaspora, that are going back, and they are going back taking with them some expertise and a different way of doing things, and you can see that reflect in some of the films that are coming out these days. Yeah.
So I'm glad you mentioned, also talked about the diaspora coming back. So you don't see, when you were doing 2 weeks in Lagos, you didn't experience skepticism or people saying, well, what is this person from the diaspora coming to do here? You have Johnny come lately, you have all these people there. Is there any of that? Was there any of that going on in your production?
Well, if they did, they didn't say it to my face, so, but I think one of the things was because I had made a film which I had tried to bring to Nigeria, I actually set up a screening of my film, so, and a lot of the people who worked with me already knew. And Treacherous Hearts, my film that I had already made, had won a number of awards, both in the United States and Canada. So I was going back with that, and so I didn't have that skepticism, it was mainly people, when they check, Google me, I come up with, and they could see the things that I had done. So there was some credibility there,
Beyond the fact that you were trying to do a film within your home country, what was the other inspirations that made you do 2 weeks in Lagos?
My whole my whole plan, my whole dream has been to create, an industry that here in Canada, especially, for Africans, that ties in with the industry we have back home, sort of build a bridge between Nollywood and the Canadian Black film industry. So that was one of the inspirations to doing that and trying to make the contacts that I am able to make over there, so that I can have that opportunity to, bridge these two worlds so we can make our films together, because we are all Nigerians living here, and really Africans, all of us, Nollywood right now has gone past Nigeria, so it actually covers most of West Africa, right? So, and we all live here, so we have our own experiences, and I feel if Nollywood is the only voice for Africans, that is not a complete voice, because there are those Africans that are in diaspora whose experience, while still authentic African experiences, are kind of different from the typical Nollywood experience. And our voices need to be heard also when we tell the African story, because being here does not make us any less African, So, but it's just a different kind of story. So, and I want to represent that story. I want to create a platform for that story to become a norm, that Nollywood sees that story, that it becomes part of Nollywood. When you talk about African storytelling, it's not just, oh, there's Nollywood and there's nothing else.
Well, definitely. I mean, now you have Hollywood, which is a Rwandan film industry, and
Yeah.
and then you also have a big booming film industry coming up in Kenya, and of course South
Yeah.
Africa has their big film industry, and of
Yeah.
course Egypt. So
Definitely.
yeah, African film is expanding, and you really have to credit Nollywood in a way for
Yes.
really pushing for expanding. I mean, of course, before you had all these other great film countries like Mali, Senegal, Burkina Faso, who had great
Yeah.
quality film, but they weren't seen in the uh, population. But
Yeah.
I think the great thing about Nollywood is that it made it more accessible to the
Exactly.
people. Yeah, to all Africans, and I think you
Yeah.
have to applaud Nollywood for that.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I wanted to also bring in a question that's come from people who are listening to the conversation, watching the conversation. And this is from Andrew Barnett. And he says, how did you finance the film? And we talked earlier about how there's so much money in Nollywood, but if you could expand a bit on how you were able to finance 2 weeks in Lagos.
Yeah. So for 2 weeks in Lagos, it was really, I was looking for more small financiers, people who would come alongside me. And that is basically how we did it. So I have a partner who is more like a financial partner, that brought in part of the money that we used to make the film. So I put in some money. And so it's really, and that is really the main thing that goes on now. Like a lot of it is really small independent financiers, as, rather than a loan or corporate financiers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you did a lot of like GoFundMe and that type of thing, or
No, actually,
and
I did
also did
do.
you also use the businesses as well in Nigeria? Because some of the scenes we see people they go to the cafe, were they part of the?
No, what we did with the cafes, what we did with the businesses was really to just get them involved and like, okay, so you get credit for this, but would get you, we need your location. So we did quite a bit of those kind of things. And, like with hospitals, with this, can we use your space and we'll give you credit, and so, but we didn't get them involved, say, in financing. And I didn't do a GoFundMe. I didn't do a crowdfunding thing. Rather, what I did was, to really identify a number of individuals, and I did, I held a lot of presentations,
Mhm.
and, sort of a little cocktails with presentations where I explained, did some screenings of Treacherous Hearts, talked about the vision for this, and basically got, people involved. Yeah.
Okay. And there is another question from Andrew Burnett again, and he talks about he wants to find out how have you been able to navigate copyright and intellectual protection in Nollywood?
Yeah, it's copyright is a tricky one, right? Because I think copyright is a universal problem that I don't think anybody has got a solution for right now. Not even Hollywood has a solution for copyright right now. So but I know is the distributor I'm working with, what they are doing now is the film is released not in DVDs or anything, to the cinemas, but they release it in oh my God, why am I forgetting? um, the format, I will come, but there's a format that is, I will remember it is, and tell you. It just flew off my
Mhm.
head now.
Are you
And,
talking about DCP?
DCP, thank you,
Mhm.
Diara. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we release it in DCP now, so which is a lot harder to copy. So when it goes to the cinemas, the DCP, we have the keys on it. So which basically tells the distributors who screens it, at what time it was screened, and where it was screened. So this really controls a lot who how it is handled. And a lot of the cinemas know, of course, that there's this check now. So if you're going to be in the right standing, make sure that you keep getting films. You're going to be protecting the films that come to you, basically. So, and so basically that is what we are doing, and I don't know what else the distributors are doing.
And I've heard that in Nollywood, there's been an increase in protection of, there's less copying than there used to be in the past. There's much more stringent policing of copyright issue, making sure that the filmmakers get all the credit as well, these days, compared to the beginning.
Oh, definitely. I think also with the rise of, and like Netflix, Serial Code, Amazon, and all, right? So filmmakers are no longer, there's hardly any film that really goes to DVD these days. None of the big films end up going to DVDs because that is where the copyright, where it is easy for them to really copy it. So they go to cinema, and then from cinema, they go to Netflix, to Amazon, or one of these other places, So it's becoming a lot harder for them to have that access, because when you go there straight to DVD and the DVD falls into somebody's hand, then they're able to make thousands of copies straight away. So, but now they are going to have to, to copy, they probably need to go into a cinema and film it off the screen. And, the consumers are becoming very, very discerning and discriminating right now. And why would I, pay to buy a DVD that I can hardly hear, or it's not very clear, if I can watch this film on Netflix or something, So it's no longer so profitable for them to really copy those big films that come out in the cinemas now.
And we have another question from S.A. Obrima. They asked this question: could you talk a bit more about how your first film blew up? Was it through the festival strategy?
No, I think it was really not really the festival strategy, because I went to festivals later. But what happened was, it happened that the topic that I picked, I made a film that dealt with the lives of children born to immigrants here in Canada, and I put it out. Once the film was ready, I made a trailer and I made a press release, which I sent out to the press, basically talking about the some of the issues that immigrants face in their own homes. I talked about the issues of culture clash between parents and their Canadian-born children, and all of that. And so it struck a chord with, the media. And again, with the quality of the film, they felt comfortable calling me. So they all wanted to hear more, especially the lead actress was a first generation Canadian, born to Nigerian parents, Nigerian immigrant parents. So they were really interested in hearing this story. And with me being an immigrant woman who had come to Canada with young children, raised children here, and now you've made this film. And so it was a narrative that was really attractive. So we suddenly found we had a lot of media interest, with the narrative that we sold to them. And we were on TV, on radio, newspapers, and suddenly started getting all the coverage, that we required, which I believe was God sent, because at that point we had made the film and we had no money left for publicity. So that was really God sent, and it's really propelled us to premiering. And I think due to the publicity we have had, we approached Cineplex in Canada, to give us the venue to premiere. They did give us their venue, one of the cinemas there to premiere, and helped us to set up the place and, all of that. And I think, again, having an African film premiere at Cineplex, like the Cineplex Chinook Center here is probably the biggest cinema in Calgary. Having a premiere there, gave us that push, So, and film festivals came later. We got this, and then we started going to film festivals. And definitely, film festivals help a lot. I would encourage every upcoming filmmaker, when you have your film, look for festivals that fit with your film and attend those festivals, because you meet so many people there. You're going to meet people from the industry, you meet you meet distributors, and even if you don't get to sell your film, you get so much feedback from people, and you will learn so much that when you go back and you make another film, you definitely would make a better film than the one you have made. Yeah.
And here's another question on films. Says, what advances are being made in creating animated movies? Please shed some light on what the future looks like. This is from Esther ND.
I'm sorry, in creating what? Native movies?
No, what advances are being made in creating animated movies? Animated.
Yeah. I think in the African film, sadly, animated movies, we haven't really made a lot of progress with that. So I do have a friend who, has been trying to make an animated film, and he's doing a really, really good animated film. But still, it is not something that we have really explored, because animation is very expensive. It's a very, very expensive form of storytelling. So you will not find it, you'll find that it's not something that Nollywood is engaged in. And you're not going to find a lot of Africans until we begin to have a lot more money, being poured into our filmmaking. Animation is not going to be something that a lot of filmmakers are going to pursue, because it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of expertise to do animation. We don't have that. We don't have the studios that we need for that, the right studios to make animation that will compete with films, or stand on their own with other films. So sadly, we haven't gone far with that.
Yeah, I saw one report, I think it was on BBC, showing a Nigerian filmmaker who's starting to do I think a superhero using animation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. That would be great to see. But
yeah.
I do know, like I mentioned, one of my friends is trying to do that. And I know it's like an uphill battle for him. Like he's basically had to buy all the equipment that he needs, because he just can't find it anywhere. Nobody owns it for him to go, and rent studio space from them. So basically he's had to buy, all the equipment that he needs to get this done. Yeah.
I want to go back to the film and 2 Weeks in Lagos, which is it's a comedy, but you also put in some things which is touching on social issues. Was this also a commentary on the political class in Nigeria? Kind of.
Yes, it was actually. Yeah, I
wonder if we should tell everybody, for those who haven't. I guess hopefully people have watched it. So
yeah. It was actually, so I wanted to tell a story that is, in my eyes, like, this is a Nigeria I see representative, right? So it's, again, not trying to sugarcoat a lot of things, but not trying to make it too heavy, so at the same time, but not to lose that message in there, so there are a lot of messages. Nigeria is a very complex society. Like politics and culture don't stand separate. They are all interwoven. Our culture determines our politics, and a lot of times, you find people, the politics they play reflects the culture that they have come from, So that is just the way it is. And that is what I tried to represent in the story. Yeah.
And it's very interesting because you have these two families. One is of the political class, and then one is, I guess, I don't know if you were trying to imply they were from the academic side, or was it? It seemed to be when I was watching it, it looked like they were more the academic. So people, I mean, they wanted not extremely wanted, but upper middle class, I would say. But
Yeah, they are middle class professionals.
yeah, professionals,
Yeah, upper middle class
upper middle
professionals.
professionals, and then the other ones were the family, which is political,
Yeah,
and the upper class, I guess.
upper
Yeah,
class.
yeah, yeah, yes. And so and which is interesting because a lot of times when you have that type of comedy where it's two people from different places, you in the Nigerian industry, they've always been the emphasis is always on the ethnicity of the two. But in this
Yeah,
film, you deliberately didn't talk about that.
yeah.
It was more to do about the social standing.
Social
Yeah, yeah.
standing.
And if
Yeah.
you can expand a bit on that as well.
Yeah, you know, I think there's so much that has been done about tribalism, which still remains a big problem that we have. But what I have seen in our society in the past few years is we've had a lot of intermarriages, right? And we've come a long way from when we fought the war in from 1967 to 1970. So a lot of the old guard are still being led by some of the those influences. You know, we're enemies with this, we're enemies with that. But the point of the matter is, a lot of the younger people, you know, it's more and more younger people are products of, you know, parents of mixed tribes, you know. So for them it's not really, tribalism is not the big issue. So it's where the society is heading now. For them, what they are facing now is more of a cultural issue, where parents are saying, and a lot of the parents that have grown up, you know, in this, and now we're looking at the parents that are having these children now, parents my age and all, and slightly older, right, in
Mhm.
that demographic. So these are people who, you know, have, you know, gone to school, you know, had several degrees, are working, are doing very well. You want your child to do better than you know. So, and then when you
Mhm.
think of a spouse for your child, you're not thinking of the kind of, you know, going into a family that it almost seems like they're going backwards. So you're thinking of people who are like you, because you think these are the people that my child can relate with. They have a similar kind of upbringing. They've been, you know, they've been exposed to the same kind of things. That is what the issue that the young people are facing now.
Mhm.
That classism, you know, is what the main issue is. And that's what I wanted to demonstrate there. You
Mhm.
know, that sometimes, you know, love does not respect class. So it's just, you just have to let it be if it is the right person.
Yeah, reminds me of an old Ghanaian film which came out in 1980,
Yeah.
exactly 40 years ago. I don't know if you remember that. Love Brewed in an African Pot, which is also like
Yeah.
it's basically colonial times Ghana, but it was about class as well. But yeah, and
Yeah.
it was a very interesting film. But there's a question from Deborah Ray Sims, and she says, "What was your film a co-production with Nigeria and Canada? If so, can you describe the process you used?" And
No,
she's
it
written
was,
a feature screenplay that takes place in U.S. and Nigeria, and is seeking to
okay.
set she's seeking to set up a co-production strategy. So if you can answer that.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, it wasn't, I didn't set it up as a co production, you know, because I could have done that. But what I did basically is also because I'm a Nigerian citizen, you know, I could go back to Nigeria and, you know, set up a production company to get this done. So, and this is what I chose to do, you know, because I wanted to actually make a Nigerian film.
So
So
all
if
done in Nigerian.
it here,
Mm,
it's completely Nigerian,
mm,
you know. So, but it is possible to do a co-production, because my next film that I'm working on now, that I'm developing, is going to be a co-production, you know, also, you know, between, you know, Canada and Nigeria, you know. So, and I don't know how it works in the United States, But I do know that here there are certain criteria that you have to meet. So there's a percentage, of Canadian content that has to be involved in it for it to be actually accepted as a co-production. So yeah, she just needs to look into what the requirements are in the United States. For us in Canada, it's a provincial thing. Each province deals differently with this because we have that separation in government. So, like the provinces deal separately. With my province here, I have to have, if it's a co-production, it has to, for them to accept it as a Canadian film, I have to have, producer, director, basically being Canadian, and so which covers, and then there's a percentage of Canadian content that has to be in it also. So yeah, that's basically what she needs to do for co-production here.
And she further asked, will the film be shown on streaming platforms?
Hopefully, I think it will be once we manage to get it into cinemas and out. Yeah. So hopefully it will be screened. We're actually having conversations with Netflix, and yeah, so I do believe that at some point that it will be seen on Netflix.
And it seems like in the film, going back to the film, this is another question. Sorry. Is Nigerian citizenship required to make a film in Nigeria? That's from Yvonne Goodbridge.
I think you don't need to be a Nigerian citizen as long as you have a Nigerian partner. But yeah, so there are things, there are immigration things you have to sort of deal with and fulfill. But as long as you have a Nigerian partner, you can make a Nigerian film. Yeah.
And going back to the film, in some of the messaging in the film, it seems like you're trying to also emphasize supporting Nigerian businesses subtly. Like, for instance, the tailor for the dress for the wedding, the friend who is opening up a traditional cafe, roadside cafe, as well. And then also when they were planning the whole wedding at the end, and some of the aspects. If you could elaborate a bit on that, was that your intent, or was that?
It's actually, it is my intent to actually show. The reason I put that, and I created that film that the young men were going back to invest in Nigerian businesses. It's really to encourage Nigerians in diaspora to say, look, there's a lot that you can be doing, back home. Like, we send a lot of money back home to people and say, oh, here, take, we send $200, $500, $1,000 to people. They use it for parties. They use it for one thing or the other. You keep sending them money to take care of themselves. But we can consciously choose to help develop the small business sector of Nigeria, help these small businesses to set up. If more people go back and invest in these businesses, not just in putting money down, also invest in resources, invest your time in teaching them, in helping them, say this is how you can actually, grow your business, give them those things, those skills that they don't have. Then we can see the economy grow a lot more. We can see a lot more people become more independent, and it helps everybody basically. So yes, it was a really conscious attempt to, highlight that. And I'm so glad you picked it up. Yeah.
And here's a question from somebody I know, Alemika Cole. And she says hello to me. Says hi, and nice, thanks for coming out. She says, is this an informative session? And she's proud that you're from Nigeria. Very proud that you made this film. Yeah, proud of making Nigeria proud.
Yeah,
that's what she says. That's a comment.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And the other one is a question from Yvonne Goodrich again, and this she said that she wasn't able to watch the film because it was sold out. Where can she see it next? And congratulations.
I think, Yvonne, all I would say is right now, because of the way the COVID-19 thing, so everything we planned is really on hold right now because we cannot go to cinema until we have been cleared to go. So, and because we haven't gone to cinema, we cannot send it to the streaming services yet. So, what I will say to you is just keep an eye on our social media pages, like on Instagram, especially at 2 weeks in Lagos, or we are actually at 2 weeks in lag on Instagram, Twitter, at 2 weeks in lag. Just keep an eye on those spaces because the moment we get the go ahead, we're going to announce it. And also, the at Matan Film Production that organized this festival will be also putting out information on the film. When it can, where it can be seen in the United States and all. So you can watch social media pages, you can watch at Matan pages, and you would definitely get information on when next you can see it.
And I wanted to go back to another message in the Yvonne says, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And I wanted to go back to one of the message and the current message throughout the film, which is about faith and religion.
Yeah.
If you could talk a little bit about that, although it didn't hit you over the head, like you weren't pounding it per se, but
Yeah.
it was there in many ways. And
Yes.
if you could describe that whole message of that film, of the message, because that's kind of the foundations of the film throughout.
Yes.
Well,
Yes. Which is true, and that is the foundation of all of my films. So it's really a reflection of me, what I believe and what I think the Nigerian society is. I believe, like, for us, Nigerian African society as a whole is a society that has faith. We believe in God one way or the other. Whatever, if we're Islam, Christianity, native religion, we believe in God. We are a society where anything happens and we are talking about God. Oh, even somebody greets you in the morning, how are you? Oh, we thank God. So we're really a religious people, and all. And the other thing also for me is being a born again Christian, right? And what it means for me is that I try to model my life after the teachings of Jesus Christ, right? And I see a lot, of hypocrisy in Christianity, and the way that we present Christianity to people. It's always, you've got to be this way, you've got to be that way. We put it out, and it's only a religion for people who are perfect, but we are all imperfect people. You understand? But I know that we are all struggling. There's nobody who is perfect. We are all struggling to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. And really, no individual person has the faith or the spiritual destination or the eventual destination of the other person in their hands. It is God who has everybody in his hands. So, and I really do believe that we need to present that our message, the message of Christianity, is a message of love. Go out and love people. Jesus talked about, if you have two coats, give one to your brother who doesn't have. If you see the person who doesn't have food, give them food to eat. That is basically what the message is. About converting people, it is the Holy Spirit of God that converts people, not, but we turn the message upside down. So when I put this in my film, it's really to tell people that, look, there is no voodoo or anything around Christianity that you have to be one special thing. We are ordinary people living ordinary lives, making the same kind of mistakes that you make, and asking for forgiveness for it, and just trying to be the best that we can be. So I try to create those characters so people can see, like, you don't have to, basically be a saint to be a Christian, you know. So you have to just be somebody that loves God, you know, that is willing to be led by Him, you know, and, you know, willing to love others and just do your best, you know. So that's why I have those messages. It's through all of my films, that message radiates. Yeah.
Just looking at humanity in its totality.
Yes.
Yes, and there's also Deborah Ray Sims wanted to you to clarify the Instagram handle. Is it at the @2 the number 2 weeks in Lagos?
In lag.
In LAG?
Yeah. The at symbol,
Yeah.
number 2, weeks in lag. You know, so it's at number 2, WEEKSINLAG.
In lag. Okay.
Yes.
So instead of Lagos in lag.
Yes.
So no
Yeah.
OS. Yeah, no OS.
Yes, no
In,
OS. Yeah.
in lag.
Yeah.
And another, I mean, one of the other things, I mean, of course, the film is about the relationship of to the two people, but
Yeah.
we also see the role of food all over the place in
Yeah.
the in the film. We have and I was just thinking to myself, I think I guess because food in our societies in the
Yeah.
African continent is a very community thing. It's a
Yeah.
communal
Yeah.
occasion. Usually you don't eat by yourself.
Yeah.
And so at the beginning there's food. There's, I mean,
Yeah.
every point there's a food,
So
and
fun.
also there was an emphasis on the traditional food as well. I don't know if
Yeah.
you, what was the mindset behind that?
Yeah, you know, it's really to showcase Nigeria. You know, it's who we are. Like when I started this, I said, I'm going to show the Nigeria that I know. This is Nigeria from my own eyes, you know, not what people come and go around and choose the narrative that they want to tell, you know. So this is Nigeria from my eyes. This is the Nigeria I know. So we are people who love food. You know, every time that Nigerians gather, we have food. We just don't have one plate of food or one, we have lots of food. We enjoy Nigerian. And Nigerian food is really, really, really good, very delicious. You know, and I keep asking myself, you know, we have, and not just Nigerian, a lot of other African countries. Like, for instance, I was in Ghana and I had the jollof rice, you know, it
Jollof,
was
yeah.
really, really good.
By
I
the way,
loved
there's a
it.
competition every year for who is the best jollof rice in the world.
Exactly, which is the best jollof rice. You know, so we have a lot of food, and I don't see why our food cannot, you know, go global the way like the Chinese or Indian food has gone. You know, our food is so tasty and nice. You know, so and that is why I put it in that. And I feel I want Nigerians to be proud. Now, I'll tell you, there's like in Nigeria, I helped some friends set up they were starting up a company, a startup company. So I helped them set up. And then we had some visitors coming from the US and we were going to give them breakfast. Okay, so I decided to give them a local breakfast, which is, you know, just have bread with akara, which is the bean cakes that we have in Nigeria. You know, the bean cakes, the puff puff, you know, those
And then
little local
moi
cakes,
as well.
moi, those things
Yes.
we eat in the morning. So I decided to have that. And they were like, what? You're serving this to white, these are white people. Why are you not bringing things, even for fruits? I chose our local fruits, mangoes, you know, pawpaw, you know, and all of those. So, and they went, and I said, look, you've got to, the way you present yourself is the way people take you. So when you show people that you love yourself, you love your own things, they are going to want to try it and they will love it also. But if you keep presenting to them that you have a problem with who you are, they are always going to have a problem with you. So they really loved the breakfast, you know. So just an example of why, you know, I think, like I put, you know, the class of people that I've written about in this film, having them eat local food, you know, is to send a message to them. Our local food is good. When you make money, you don't have to begin to eat only spaghetti and you know,
Go to a
things
five-star
that you
hotel
come
and stuff.
across.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, you can eat the local food, is good. Yeah.
Yeah, and going back to the film as well. I mean, the also, if you could talk a little bit about the actors and actresses in the film.
Yeah.
Some of them are major players within the industry.
Yeah. I think most of them actually, we have about 8 of them that are really big stars in Nollywood, So, and we decided, to go, mainly with them because, again, I decided to have a mix of the veterans and the young ones. So I was looking for people who basically portrayed the characters, who really, so the young man who played the male lead, it's Ghanaian. He's not Nigerian, for instance.
Yeah.
Ghanaian.
And there are a lot of actors. Sorry to interject. There are a lot of actors who are Ghanaian who are in the Nollywood industry. Of course, the famous one is
Exactly.
Vic. What's his name? Victor. I forgot his last name. He was always. It was. Is it Van Roy? I forgot his. I can't remember his name. He was always big
Okay.
in the Nigerian industry,
But
but he's
Van
Ghanaian.
Vickers. Van
Van
Vickers,
Vickers.
yeah.
Yeah, Van Vickers. Yes, right. Van Vickers.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this young man, Mawuli Gabo, he's Ghanaian, went to school in the US, worked for some time in the US before coming back to Ghana and then ending up in Nollywood. So I think he kind of, connected with the character again because it fit with his story, with his life story. So, and I looked for those kind of people. The lead actress, Beverly Nair, is British born, grew up in the UK, only came back to Nigeria, I think, in 2013 or 14, quite recently. And, so the story really resonated with them. So I wanted those ones who the story will resonate, who can or tell the story in an authentic manner because they understand what these people would be feeling because this is their own life experience. Then I also wanted the veterans who have been in the industry also that understand the way things work and who are known names, very recognizable names also. So we had a mix of those people. So we had maybe about 8 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a number of them. There's of course the mother of his mother, the
Yeah,
mother of the male actors
yeah,
is famous in the film, and then of course the father on the other side
yeah,
as
yeah,
well. Yeah,
yeah.
was in a big production that was
He's been
the
in,
Hibiscus Hotel, yeah, hotel film.
yeah,
Yeah, it
he's
was
in
a big one.
almost every film. You
He's in
can
a
see
film. He's in a lot of films. He's an interesting character as well. Yeah,
that.
in these films. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to make sure people know that they can find out more about the films from the website of Admatan's website as well. It's NYD. Let me make sure I get that right. It's at NYD NYADIFF.org. NYADIFF.org for more
Yeah.
information on the film. But also wanted, as we're talking about the people coming back and the Nigerian film industry, and you earlier on you talked about how in the past it was challenging for women filmmakers and others involved in the industry. So what is the situation like for women filmmakers and in Nigeria, and also is there also a network of filmmakers as well that help each other get in the industry?
Yeah, I think for women, it's a big challenge. Yeah. So I found that is a big challenge for women because, it's still a challenge, for women to be taken seriously in Africa. And basically, maybe not just Africa, I think in the world really is a challenge that we are facing that, for women to be taken seriously. So but I found a number of really very serious female filmmakers who are in Nigeria. I belong to a platform of female filmmakers who basically help each other out, and these are really serious women who are telling, really good stories. And, so this is one of my things that I think, we need to help these women because when, recognition comes, people, or they always tend to go and look for the men. We look for all the men, the Kunle Afolaryans and the others, and we forget that there are a lot of women that are telling really, really, important stories. We need to have those voices, but the voices of women are not being heard, and we're not harnessing it. We just expect them to stay on Iroko, and all. And Iroko has been good, for them. But again, they need to tell their story. Their stories need to go global, because you will not believe the number of women that are making films in Nigeria. Just people don't get to hear about them more as they hear about the male ones.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we're almost towards the end. Do you have any closing thoughts for us as we proceed, and also for any other things that we missed out on the 2 weeks in Lagos that you want to touch on?
With 2 weeks in Lagos, all I would say is, it's a really very interesting story. Like, while I wrote it, as a Nigerian story, it's also a story that is global, So, and the thing about it is, it's a global language. The language is global. The characters are global. They are Nigerians yet, but anybody can identify with these characters. You can identify with the story in the story of this film. So I will encourage people to just, keep in touch with us. Find out where it's going to screen in your area, and let all, when it comes out, please go and see it. Gather people, spread the word to your friends, because I think the most important thing for us now is really to support ourselves, to make African voices heard, to make our stories heard, so that, we have so much to say, we have so much to tell, we have so much experiences. We are also a business, and we need to be successful. We need to make the money also. So support your fellow Black businesses. As you support them, support Black films, so that Black filmmakers can, make more films. Support Black female filmmakers. We need the support, because we are a voice that needs to be heard, now. So that is what I'm really going to, and I'm also going to say to all especially the ladies here, the young ladies, who are looking to get into this industry, don't be discouraged, So if this is a passion for you, keep, nursing your passion. Look for the opportunities to grow. Align yourself with people who can help you grow here, and so that one day you can tell your own story also. And if you're ready, and you're just doubting yourself, one thing I'll tell you is, look at the Nollywood model. I always tell people that Nollywood should be an example to all of us. Like, just do it. That is what Nollywood is. And that is what Nollywood did. A group of people who just wanted to make films, and they just did, and they just kept doing it. And, now they are what they are and going where they are going. So I'll just say to you, if you want to make films, just do it. It's there's no better time to do it. And even for ladies, the older ladies, like myself, who is thinking, yeah, I don't know if I can do it. The time is past. No. The day you wake up is your morning, just do it. You still have a story to tell. As long as you have that story burning within you, it doesn't matter how old you are, do it. So that is the message I have for you today. Just do it.
Well, thank you very much. Very positive message. And I think I'll have Diarra come in to close the event.
Yes, well, thank you so much. It was a wonderful conversation. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Muiza. And tomorrow we are going to talk about Ella Baker, an activist who was doing it behind the scenes for fighting for human rights. 8 p.m. tomorrow night, same time. The film is still available to watch if you want to prepare for the discussion. So thank you again. Have a good evening and keep in touch for more news about 2 Weeks in Legos coming up soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
Catherine.
you,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Willa.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.